Welcome back, Leo. I'm Ryan with Arrows of Love. Today we're going to do your mid-July 2021 Love Tarot reading. We went through a series of pretty serious stuff in the sky recently. We had a series of T-squares, and you were very much involved in the T-squares, Leo. We had the lovers, Mars and Venus, in your home sign, in your first house right now. And they were opposing Saturn over in your seventh house of partnerships, one-on-one relationships, marriage, contracts, sexuality. And then on top of it, it was squaring rebellious Uranus sitting over in Taurus, and that is your 10th house of careers. So these are hitting your angular houses, and that was last week, and it could have been some tough stuff coming up for you in career, with partnerships, and yourself overall. Points of tension, points of potential confrontation, reality checks, and love even. Especially with that Venus-Saturn opposition, there could be some pretty harsh judgment actually coming through. But now, today, July 13th, the lovers are coming together in your home sign. They are conjoined today at about 13 degrees, or sorry, about 18 degrees, 19 degrees of Leo. So that's really good. That points to potential healing. That points to coming together if there's been some rough patches lately. And it also points to romance, passion. This aspect only happens once every 2 years, so you have to take advantage of it. And Mars and Venus, Mars is the god of action, war, sometimes aggression and confrontation, and Venus is obviously the god of love, relationships, beauty, harmony, and negotiation. But in the sign of Leo, they're actually both very well dignified. So Mars does very well in Leo. Mars rules Aries, which is another fire sign. So that's making a trining aspect over to you. And typically speaking, that points to blessings. And Venus does also very well in Leo. It's the fifth house. You are the fifth house on the astrological wheel. And it's said that the fifth house is the joy of Venus. So good things could actually really come together for you today, over the next week, with love, if there's been some issues lately. So look out for that right now. Also happening this week, we have some other kind of weird things going on. So we have the sun sitting over in Cancer, and that's in your 12th house. And the 12th house is a hidden house. It's a house of introspection, sometimes confinement and isolation. It also points to some escapism. So watch out for drugs, alcohol, sex addictions, things like that. Those things tend to come up during this particular time. And also watch out for self-sabotage and self-undoing, because that 12th house can be a pretty tricky house. So the sun sitting over in Cancer right now is going to be making a trine over to Neptune sitting in Pisces. And Pisces is your 8th house. It is 8 signs past Leo, and the 8th house is an intense house. It's the most intense house in astrology. Sometimes it points to some upheaval, but astrologers usually say the 8th house has to do with sex, taxes, insurance, joint ventures. It's the death and rebirth process. It has to do with inheritances sometimes. But generally speaking, it's a house of karmic debts. So there could be an unexpected karmic bill coming in for you, because the sun sitting in that hidden 12th house, making a trine over to Neptune, which can create some disillusionment, fog, confusion, and haziness sitting over in that 8th. There could just be some things coming up from the subconscious that is creating quite a bit of confusion. And that it could relate to some type of karmic debt coming in for you overall. So that's perfecting this week. The sun is applying its trine over to Neptune, which means it's coming up to that exact degree where it's going to be making that trine. So that's the entire week. And then on Saturday, July 17th, the sun is going to be making an opposition over to alchemical Pluto sitting in Capricorn. And Capricorn for you, Leo, is your 6th house. And the 6th house is also kind of a crummy house, to be frank. So it has to do with your mundane life. It's regular life affairs. It's your routine, work, health. Ancient astrologers said this is a house of disease, bondage, servitude, and sometimes misfortune. So when Pluto is sitting over there, Pluto is the god of the underworld, also rules secrets, things unseen, but it has a lot to do with fear, obsession, power, where you give it away, where you keep it, And it also has to do with sexuality. So there is this element of sexuality and romance coming in for you overall. I should mention as well that 12th house in Vedic astrology is known as the house of intimacy. So there could be some really intense emotions regarding intimacy right now. It also has to do with your regular life though. So watch out for things coming in over the weekend that's pointing to some fear, obsession, something dealing with control in your everyday life. It could relate to routine. It can relate to your health. That 8th house also deals with other people and other people's money. So, just generally speaking, potentially family, potentially partners. It's intense stuff. So Leo, you're going through a lot right now overall. Not a ton happening in your traditional love houses overall. Saturn's still sitting over in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships, and that can be a reality check of sorts. So hang in there. But there could be something really good on the way because the lovers, Mars and Venus, are in your sign and they're making a conjunction. So you're kind of giving a cosmic break, so to speak, after going through some crazy stuff in 2021. So look out for that. And if you're looking for some healing and to just take that energy down, go near water. The sun is in Cancer. Cancer is the cardinal water sign. So if you can, go to the pool, go to the lake, the coast if you can, wherever, just do a healing bath and just cleanse it away, because I think a lot of Leos right now are on edge, just given the fact that a lot of their angular houses, which is your 1st house of the body, yourself, self-presentation, your purpose, identity, that 7th house of relationships and partnerships, and then that 10th house of career, they're all on fire basically. And that can point to some real tricky stuff when your angular houses or pillars of life are all being activated at the same time. So get near some water if you're just feeling really on edge. That's the general astrology, but you got to take advantage of the lovers being in your sign. They're both well dignified in Leo. So, I think there's going to be some relief on the way for you. Today we're going to do your mid-July reading. I'm going to do a modified Celtic cross. I'm going to pull 6 cards from the tarot, 1 from the angels to clarify. Keep in mind these are general readings. Messages won't resonate with all of you. Be sure to take a look at your rising sign or ascendant, both the same, rising or ascendant. We use them interchangeably in astrology. And your moon and your Venus signs if it's not Leo. Sometimes those messages will resonate more with you depending on what's happening in your natal chart. If you like these videos and you would like to see more of them, please click the like button and subscribe. Helps the channel and it's very much appreciated from me. All right, so Leo, let's see what's going on with you. The 12th house with the sun, the 6th house with Pluto right now, it's being activated. There could be some trying stuff coming up in just everyday life, your regular life affairs. So keep a positive attitude. You tend to be a very positive sign overall. But just some tough stuff happening for you. So we're going to see what's going on with the tarot. Six cards from the tarot. That was just bad shuffling. Let's see what's happening, Leo. First card out, Hermit. You might be doing some introspection right now, wanting to hide maybe from the universe because it's been so on fire for you. So we'll talk more about this. So that's your general energy straight out of the gate. The next card is going to be your immediate influence. 10 of Swords. Yeah, I figured there's going to be some tough things coming through here. Saturn, Venus making those oppositions to each other in your sign and your 7th house. That's reality checks and love of some type. So that's your immediate influence. This is where you're going. Temperance, healing. I like seeing this card after the 10. So this is good. Could be dealing with a Sag. This is the distant past, judgment. Yeah, so probably we just talked about reality checks. Saturn is a planet of judgment. It's the outer boundaries, it tests boundaries, and it's the judge. It can be pretty tough sometimes. So dealing with some maybe tough decisions, maybe you're handing them down, maybe it's vice versa. Next card out is going to be the recent past. Page of Cups, could have been some emotional conversations lately, might be an apology even. We'll talk more about this though. So the Page of Cups is coming out here in the recent past. Could be some emotional things happening overall. We are in Cancer season. Cancer is that water sign. The moon rules Cancer. and it has to deal a lot with our emotions and what's going on underneath the surface. This is the future. 10 of Cups. So good. I'm glad to see this overall. This is one of the happiest cards in the deck. This is where you're going. So if things have been pretty tough lately, like I said, Mars and Venus in your sign, this doesn't happen very often when they conjoin in a single sign. The last few times that they conjoined, each planet wasn't very well dignified. Venus was in retrograde one year. Mars was in its fall position. Another year, finally, they're in a good position. So I think something good is actually going to be coming in for you. So let's chat. Present position, you're the Hermit. Probably a little closed off, probably feeling isolated, confined, going deep. This is a card of introspection. This is a card, it's a little bit of a dark night of the soul, to be quite honest. It's not an easy card. It's the man in the cave. It's really looking at what your next steps are and figuring out where you're going next. And you have to tap into that inner light. The Sun Neptune trine is about spirituality. It's about compassion, empathy for yourself too. We all make mistakes, right? None of us are perfect. And sometimes we have to go through some dark periods in order to rise above and to think about what our next steps are. And he has to use his inner light. It's the lantern. And within the lantern is the star. And the star represents our long-term goals, our hopes, wishes, and dreams. And that's really what's guiding him here. It's a realignment of kind of forgetting about all of the noise right now in the universe and taking that reassessment to where it is you're going in that long term. So right now, Sun is sitting in the 12th house of isolation, confinement, introspection. So it's not surprising that I see this. This is also the card of Virgo. So you could have been dealing with a Virgo at some point here. Your immediate influence is the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords this is a tough card. This is the dark night of the soul. This is potentially betrayal. It's feeling stabbed in the back. It's feeling a deep loss of some type. So the good news, and I always say this with the Ten of Swords, is that it's the end of the cycle. And you're about to start a new one. So the Ten of Swords is a hard card. We all go through this at some point in time. It's pretty indicative of, that doesn't require a lot of explanation. You can just look at it, and it's a dark card. And paired with the Hermit, it just feels very isolating. I feel that for you. But it is the end of the cycle. Something new is about to come in. Now, what I like here is that the Destiny card is a card of healing. This is the Temperance card. It's a rebalancing of emotions here. It's a rebalancing of your priorities. It's a rebalancing of your values, making sure your values align with where you're going next. And this is, in my readings, this is Raphael. She's got 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land. The water represents meditation, spirituality, getting in touch with God, and keeping 1 foot in the land, being realistic about where you're going next. But it's the rebalancing of the cups here, right? It's a healing card. It's calling you to heal from this situation. And this looks pretty dark. So Leo, you might have been going through quite a bit, but now it's time to really focus on you and to tap into your healing mechanisms. Because no one likes a wounded lion. We like to see that jovial, happy, expressive, sometimes dramatic lion come out. So be sure you are taking care of yourself. If it's time to just do some downtime and take care of you, then that's what you got to do. Okay, that's what this is saying here. The next card here, which is the distant past, is Judgment. So it looks like something probably has ended. Could have been a relationship, could have been a marriage, could have been someone that you're seeing. This could go many different ways. Judgment has an element of finality to it. Something came up where, that's it. So either you're in or you're out. Saturn is about boundaries and testing those boundaries. And when Venus came up against Saturn in that opposition, it's about what you don't want in relationships. It's about a hard no. It's a pass. So I see this as probably being indicative of this particular card. Judgment's not always easy, but sometimes hard decisions have to be made so you can realign with what it is you truly want. In the recent past, probably some emotional conversations. This is the Page of Cups. Sometimes this is indicative of an apology. So maybe an apology is due, perhaps to you, perhaps to someone else, maybe just to each other, if there's been some exchange of words that were pretty harsh. But the Page of Cups is very much about having an emotional conversation, getting in touch with your feelings, going deep into those feelings and being honest with how it is you're feeling, and then expressing them in a mature way. Not going overboard, not letting emotion completely take over here, but it is an expression of emotion of some type here. So there could have been a very emotional conversation here leading to judgment. Perhaps some news came out that led to this Ten of Swords moment. Now, what I like about this reading, in addition to Temperance, is your future position is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is emotional abundance. The Ten of Cups is the happy family, happy house. It's all that glitters is gold. It's the rainbows and the unicorns. And I don't just say that to build you up, but if you do the healing work here, and you deal with this Ten of Swords energy, and you go into the cave and you examine what it is you truly want, and find your inner light, and what makes you happy, and what values align with you when it comes to relationships, I have a feeling that you're going to end up meeting someone. Someone might come into your life that really changes things up for you. The Venus-Mars conjunction in your sign is significant. It's one of the best aspects that we have all year, and it's highlighting you. So if you've been going through some crummy things, the light is on the way. There's some good news on the way. Let's pull a card from the angels for the advice. It's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So I love this for your advice. So don't get down on yourself too much. If your pride has been hurt, if you're licking your ego a little bit right now, it's time to do some healing. You rule the heart, by the way, Leo, in astrology. So perhaps what you could do is go into YouTube and find it's called heart chakra healing music. Just do a search for that. Play it while you sleep, play it while you meditate, while you're working, and it will soothe it, and that will help heal the heart. Also, get near water. Water is very healing at this time. This goes really nicely with this Temperance card. You'll see that she's got one foot in the water. We have another Page of Cups, also near the water. Ten of Cups, this is water signs. So again, get near water. Water is very healing. Listen to some heart chakra music for some healing. And then slowly start to open up your heart again, because you are the romantic of the zodiac, and we can't have a wounded lion in the zodiac. A lot of people rely on you for your optimism, your carefree attitude, your lightheartedness, your creativity. So be creative about this. You're a very creative sign. You got Venus sitting in your sign right now. So be creative about how it is you want to heal yourself. Journal it out, cry it out, get it out. There needs to be a release, a purging, and that's what that Sun-Pluto aspect is asking you. There's something in your everyday life that needs to be purged here. So if you're harboring some feelings, if you're feeling the fear and the obsession and the betrayal, it's time to release it. Find ways to release it through water, find ways to release it through creativity, and learn to open up the heart. Good things are on the way. I hope you enjoyed this reading, heavy reading, Leo. But I promise you, the light is at the end of the tunnel here. You've been going through some pretty hard stuff, and you're getting a little bit of a break, cosmic break. And the tarot cards are saying it's time to do some healing, time to have some emotional conversations, and time to get over this. Open up the heart. Until next time, we will talk to you soon, Leo.